morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Mary.
Welcome to our sacred space. We are the Alcar Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart. We are a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual, spiritual, and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. Welcome to you all. If you are a visitor with us this morning, we invite you to join us for coffee and conversation afterward so that we can get to know each other better. And now I'd like to ask you to please turn off or turn to vibrate your cell phones before we begin the service. I'm Mary Lichty Adams, and I'm a member of the board of this congregation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Judy Darnell, and I'm a member of this congregation, and I'm here with our fellowship life. And before I go on to what I printed off to read, I see we have some young people here, some very young people who may get a little bit antsy and wiggly during the sermon and whatnot. So after we say our covenant, I will escort you to another room where we can do something like play Legos or whatever, okay? But we do need another Lego buddy to make sure that there's always someone here to help our youngsters have fun. So if you can help on occasion, please talk to me during coffee hour or email me this week. The meditation group will meet today at 11:45. The group will meet every Sunday except when we have third Sunday potluck. And I believe you will be meeting over in the gathering place or in the Ari building,
Yes.
Learning Center. Okay. Science and Society will meet next Tuesday, the 13th, at 2 p.m. in the gathering place to continue a video and a discussion about genes and DNA. The Memorial March on Washington is planned for June 18th. Bus transportation is available, so Google the Poor People's Campaign for more information. Also this month is the UUA General Assembly, and registration is not yet closed. The program guide is now available on the UUA website to help you decide to attend. It will be held both in Portland, Oregon, and online. And I believe we still need 2 delegates for the conference. So speak to Ken Claiborne and Carl Rust about your interests. Ken, hi. So talk to Ken because he knows about financial assistance, and Carl because he is our board president. The Building and Grounds Committee is looking for help. So if you can help with gardening or minor building repairs, speak to Mike Darnell. There's more information in this month's focus. The Stuffy Campout will be held here on June 18th and 19th. So regardless of your age, your best friend's age or species, you can deliver your pal sometime between today and the 17th for fun and s'mores. Your BSF will be returned unsinged on Sunday the 19th. Mary Adams is still organizing a second euchre club, so if you have a card table to spare, contact her for your contribution. Our supplies for the food pantry are looking slim. We need canned items, including fruit, vegetables, meat, and fish. We also need other shelf-stable foods such as breakfast cereal, rice, pasta, and instant potatoes. If you would like to contribute without shopping, Ken Claiborne will be happy to accept monetary contributions. And since I've mentioned him twice and we have newcomers, Ken is our church treasurer. Chalice Sparks, the UU Camp for all ages, will be held at Camp Friedenwald near Cassopolis from July 8th through 10th. More information is available on Heidi Island, which is that standout in the foyer. And last week's offering of $148 was shared with Church Community Services. This week's collection will go to our Sustainability Fund, which supports the maintenance of our building and grounds. And as we leave this room this morning, please help stack the chairs and place the gray handles on the carts so that our cleaning service can vacuum the room this week. So thank you very much, and go on with the service.
I am the Ken Claiborne of which she spoke. we ring the gong 3 times, once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here with us now, and once for those who will come after us and build on the dream. Please say the unison covenant with me. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. I've got to do the chalice light. Hang on. Our chalice lighting today is from Kathy Gelfand. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. Our unison covenant, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. And now we'll take up the shared collection. As mentioned earlier, it will go to the, all of it will go to the Sustainability Fund this month, or this week. Please join in singing hymn number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
Before I introduce our speaker today, we're going to light one more candle for all of the lives that have been lost to gun violence. I don't know what else to do. We have to acknowledge it and face it, I guess. We'll light a candle. Reverend Dr. James Clifton has served in parish ministry for more than 40 years, serving Quaker, Congregationalist, Presbyterian, Christian, and Lutheran congregations. His most recent pastorate was St. John's Lutheran, 8 miles north of Millersburg. In 1987, he was ordained by First Unitarian Church, a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association, and he received his Lutheran clergy certification in 2013. He is a licensed clinical social worker, providing internet psychotherapy, and he has been married to his wife Donna for more than 30 years. In January, Jimmy, as he said we could call him, shared a moving message with us virtually, titled Moving Beyond Intention. And we are looking forward to the words he has for us today. Welcome, Jim.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll move this a little bit if I can. Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it. I enjoyed being here the last time. I'd like to begin with a joke. Not a joke. Two guys were on the golf course, and one of them was kind of looking downtrodden, downcast, and his friend said, "Are you okay?" He said, "No, I'm all right." He said, "Well, what's wrong?" He said, "Well, my wife gave me an ultimatum." He said, "Oh, what did she say?" He said, "If I don't give up golf, she's going to leave me." His friend said, "Wow, what are you going to do?" "I'll miss her."
That's a good Sunday morning.
Good Sunday morning, Jim? Yeah. Well, I don't want to just pick on the women, so let's do one more. Why do men go through psychoanalysis quicker than women? Because when it's time to go back to childhood, men are already there. The church's theme for the month is blessings, is that correct?
Yes.
That's a word we hear every day, isn't it? And most of us probably say it every day. Somebody sneezes, bless you, or God bless you. Somebody's leaving and you say, be blessed. We sign our emails with blessings. Have a blessed day. Well, what does that word mean? We use it so often. There's so many definitions of it. When you look it up in the dictionary, it always seems to have a religious connotation. But what does it really mean? In the New Testament, we have the Beatitudes. Blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are those who mourn, blessed are those who seek and thirst after righteousness. But newer translations change blessed to happy. And I think that's a good definition or a good interpretation of what blessing is. Happiness. Be blessed. Be happy. Somebody sneezes, bless you. Health to you. Get happy again. Be healthy again. Signing off blessings, happiness. How do we be happy in life? Look around us today, we see so much tragedy. As was mentioned just a few moments ago. Heartbreaking, heart-wrenching tragedy. And we wonder, where is the happiness in all of that? How can we wake up every single morning and face the day in a happy mood, in a joyous mood, when we see so much tragedy and so much heartache amongst us? The real key, I think, is to be spiritually mature. And there are keys to spiritual maturity. But before we get to that, we have to take some initial steps. And one of the initial steps to being happy is to be a people of gratitude. A people of gratitude. Ask ourselves this morning as we're sitting here, what am I grateful for today? What am I grateful for this morning? What am I grateful for in my life? Oftentimes in working with people who are depressed, one of the key things in helping them overcome that depression is to give them exercises to do where they figure out what they are grateful for. And once they begin to list all of the things for which they are grateful, they begin to feel better. Because the focus then is not so much on themselves, but on what they can do for someone else. How they can express gratitude. And so I would ask this morning, how many of us just this week have expressed our gratitude to someone for being a part of our lives, for having done something for us? Or have we taken those things for granted? Be a people of gratitude. Each and every day we should be thankful for something. Express that gratitude to someone. And then the hard work comes. The hard work comes. Developing those keys to spiritual maturity. And there's several steps for that. Number one, we have to be able to face the realities of the day. And that's where the struggle comes for so many of us. There's so many things that we face and experience every day. So much tragedy in the world, so many personal difficulties and struggles. And how do we face those things? Some of these shooters that we've seen these last few weeks, these last few months, this last year, there's been a lot of them. When we look at their lives, they have very dysfunctional lives, very distressed lives. Their lives are miserable. And they struggle with facing those struggles every day. They struggle with facing the realities of life, the things they're dealing with, the things they're trying to cope with. And so they take the easy way out. They kill themselves, but unfortunately, they take others with them. And that's one way people face the realities of life negatively, taking the negative approach. Not facing the struggles and learning how to cope with the difficulties that they're experiencing. They take the escapist route. Suicide, alcohol and drug addiction, other things. William Glasser, who founded reality therapy back in the 50s, taught his clients 3 things. Face reality, deal with it constructively. Be responsible in life and do the right things. And that's key, facing the realities. There's so many things that we see we don't like. There's so many things we deal with we don't like. We don't want to deal with stuff sometimes. Life's hard. It's very hard. It's very difficult. But if we learn how to face things realistically, not try to avoid, not try to escape, but look at things and face them realistically. And one of the reasons we struggle with that is because of fear. We fear what we might face, and we fear what we are facing. Martin Luther King, in his book Strength to Love, the book of his sermons, had a sermon there about fear. And he told the story of a woman who lived in a high-rise in New York City. She had a fear of snakes under her carpet. Legitimate fear. She finally worked that out through seeing a psychiatrist. But that's the basis of most of our fears, isn't it? Those snakes under the carpet. And King said, we have to face our fears and ask ourselves, what are we really afraid of? Have we ever done that? In our fears about life, in our fears about the struggles we're dealing with and have to face, what are we really afraid of? Are we exaggerating things? Are we embellishing things? Are we not willing to stand up and go forward in the struggle and work our way through it? Or are we too easy to simply give up and quit? And where does that get us? Really doesn't get us anywhere, does it? Number two, the second key to spiritual maturity is to learn to adapt, to have the ability and the capacity to adapt to change. Change is all around us. Many of us don't like change. The singer-songwriter Bob Dylan said, "The times they are changing." We could probably modify that. The times they are constantly changing, because they are. Many of us don't like change because we like the familiar. We don't want to get out of our comfort zone. That's not very Unitarian Universalist, is it? It's not. Because Unitarian Universalists have a history of stepping outside the comfort zone. Going places that no one else has dared to go. The fight for peace, the fight for civil rights, the fight for equality, the fight against war, taking a chance, taking a risk, learning to adapt to change, learning to be in those struggles, learning to stand and fight and adapt to the changes of life and not giving up, making sure that when change comes, we're right there. We may not like the changes, but what choice do we have? To quit or to find a way to work through the change, to adapt to the change, to make the change fit us? The third key to spiritual maturity is to learn that there is more, it is more blessed to give than to receive. To find more pleasure and more joy in giving than in receiving. Again, working with depressed people, we learned that when depressed people begin to give and do things for other people, and the studies show that, when we give of ourselves, we feel better. People who give and get involved in the lives of other people, get involved in uplifting and encouraging other people, they are happier people. They just are. The psychiatrist Mildred Erickson tells a story about having received a call from a local pastor. He says, "Dr. Erickson, I need your help. I have an elderly lady in my congregation who was very active in church, and now she's not coming anymore. She's very depressed. I need your help. Will you go see her?" Erickson said, "Sure, I'll go see her." He went into her apartment, he sat on the couch, and he noticed in front of him was a coffee table. Bulletins stacked from the church, they were sending her weekly. And he picked it up and he looked at it. And he noticed in every bulletin was a prayer list. And on the prayer list were people who were in nursing homes, people who were shut in. And then he noticed all these beautiful crocheted doilies all around the apartment. And he looked at her and he said, "You ought to be ashamed of yourself." She said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Here you're sitting, sad and depressed. You have this tremendous ability, this tremendous talent, all these beautiful things that you've made. And you have all these people on this prayer list that are shut in and in nursing homes who would probably appreciate not only a visit from you, but presenting them with these beautiful items, these gifts you could give them, enlighten their day, brighten their day. About a month later, Dr. Erickson got a call again from the pastor. "Dr. Erickson, I don't know what you did, but she's back in church, she's happy, she's engaged." Giving, encouraging others, helping others, helps us, brings us alive. There's nothing better in life to do than to reach out and help someone else. And I realize with COVID, sometimes we find that difficult to do. But how difficult is it to pick up a telephone and call somebody and offer them a word of encouragement? How difficult is it to type an email to somebody or text somebody? How are you doing? I've been thinking about you today. I've been concerned about you. That's a tremendous ministry, if you want to use that word. You know, ministry means a lot of things. And sometimes we get caught up in theological terms because we have such a narrow view. We do. Ministry can mean a lot of different things. And reaching out and helping someone and being more willing to give than receive is a ministry. Think of all the people in your own lives that you've done something for. Look back, think back, the expression on their faces, the gratitude they expressed to you. And then think about how good you felt in doing something for someone else. The fourth key to spiritual maturity, this is a hard one, is to be able to love. Isn't that the theme of this church? What was it? Love is the spirit of this church. Is it just the spirit? Is it just words on the paper? Or is it an action? Again, Unitarian Universalists have a history of being people of action, people of movement. Sometimes we're stagnant, aren't we? Sometimes we take the attitude, let somebody else do it. But what about us? Where do we fit into all of this? Where do we fit into love is the spirit of this church? Do we take action to show and to express our love one to another? And it's not a conditional love. You see, that's the problem sometimes. We love people conditionally. We love the people that are like us. We love Unitarians. We love whatever political party we belong to, whatever race we belong to. But do we go beyond that? Do we reach out and love those people who are not like us? Those people who are the complete diametrical opposite of us. Do we love those people? Do we care for those people? Do we express gratitude for them being alive and being part of our lives if they are? Or do we love people conditionally? Unconditional love is the key to loving one another. Can't be any conditions. Can't be any qualifiers. Not at all. Two types of love we have in this country. We love people if, and we love people because of. I will love you if you do what I say. I will love you if, and the conditions continue on. Or I love you because. I love you because you're good to me. I love you because you're beautiful. I love you because you're so nice to me. Conditional love. So I would ask us all this morning, think about all the people that we love. Do we love them conditionally? Or do we love them unconditionally? Excuse me. Two stories illustrate the conditional type of love. Both of these stories are out of Japan, true stories. The first one is about a young man who had been groomed all of his life by his father. A very successful businessman in Tokyo. Groomed his son to take over the family business. And that's all the son knew. That's all he focused on. His father loves me. My father loves me. But I have to do certain things. I have to meet certain qualifications. I have to meet certain standards. I have to make sure that everything I do prepares me to take over the family business. Well, the day came. Young man graduated from high school. Went to take the college entrance exam to go to some business school. Failed the exam. Failed the exam. Walked the streets of Tokyo most of the day. Very concerned about what his father was going to say, what his father was going to think, what his father was going to do. And then he thought, this is my father. He loves me. It'll be okay. So I went home. Sat on the couch, waiting for his father to come home. Father came home, walked through the door, saw us sitting on the couch, ran to him. How did you do? The boy stood up and said, Father, I failed. Father got angry. You have shamed me. I will be the laughing stock throughout all of Tokyo now. You have disgraced me, and you are a disgrace. Son got the message loud and clear. His father would only love him if he met his father's criteria and standards set for him. Conditional love. Second story describes the because of kind of love. Another story again out of Tokyo. Beautiful woman. Owned a chain of dry cleaning stores. As was her custom, at the end of each day, she would go to her stores, make sure everything was fine, everything was put back in place, everything was ready for the next day. Last store she went to, she flipped the light on when she went into place blew up. Completely disfigured. In the hospital for a long time. Couldn't have any visitors. She finally got to the point where she could have visitors. But then she was concerned. What are they going to think about me the way I look? Mother and father had been out of town. They were on vacation. Finally came back, came to see her, and she said, I don't know if I want to see them. And then she thought, they were my parents. They'll love me. Parents walked in, looked at her, told her they loved her, gave her a hug. Several weeks later, her boyfriend, who had been avoiding her, her fiancé rather, who had been avoiding her, came. She thought, he'll be the same with my parents. Came in, took one look at her, turned around and walked away. See, he loved her because to him at one time she was beautiful. But now to him she was not. Never mind the type of personality she had. Never mind the type of heart she might have had. Never mind how good of a person she might have been, how caring of a person she might have been, how giving of a person she might have been. All that was important to him was the way she looked, and that's why he loved her, because she was beautiful. The fourth criteria for spiritual maturity, to love, the capacity, the ability, the desire to love one another. To love one another unconditionally. I'm going to challenge you this morning. Think about all the people in your life that you right now can say, I love this person. And then go deeper with that. Go much deeper with that. Why do I love them? Why do I love them? And if the reason I love them weren't there, would I still love them? Or am I loving them conditionally? That's a real challenge for all of us. And I know that's true. I've talked to a number of people. We like to think, hey, we love people unconditionally. We don't just single certain people out. Yes, we do. Even Unitarian Universalists. Yes, we do. We single them out. That doesn't mean we have to approve or accept certain behaviors. That's not what it's all about. It's not about behaviors. It's about the person as an individual. As a child. If we believe in God, a child of God. If we don't, a child of the universe. A child of the cosmos. A child that exists. A human being. A person. Do we love them unconditionally? That might be a real challenge for us this morning to think about this week. When we think about expressing gratitude. Do we express gratitude to those people that we kind of love marginally? Because there are people like that in our lives. We love them, but it's just, they're just kind of over here. We basically kind of tolerate them. How tolerant are we? There again, that's another Unitarian Universalist theme, isn't it? We're tolerant people. Are we really? And that's just not true for Unitarians. All denominations are like that. All denominations like to talk about we love people, we accept everybody. But do we really in our hearts? Do we really? So we have some challenges this morning. We have some questions to ask ourselves. And we don't like doing that, do we? Because again, we step out of our comfort zone. We don't like questioning ourselves. We don't like looking at ourselves. The psychiatrist Karen Horn and I said, every now and then, we need to stand before the mirror and take a long, hard look at ourselves and ask ourselves, who am I? What am I? What is my purpose? How am I perceived by others? How do I treat other people? So if you get nothing out of this message this morning, I would like you to at least get one thing out of it. Love people unconditionally. No conditions, no qualifiers, nothing. This is a human being standing in front of me. I love this person. I will do what I can to help this person. If I'm a praying person, I will pray for this person. If this person ever needs anything and I can provide that, I'm going to do it. I don't care what he or she does. I don't care what he or she believes. This is a human being. A person that has a heart. A person that has a brain. A person that has blood in his or her body that flows. A person that bleeds when they get cut. A person that experiences emotional pain when they have tragedy in their lives. A human being who needs to be loved and cherished and embraced. Amen.
Amen.
Think you have everything memorized and then you don't. I noticed that earlier my name was put up as Clinton instead of Clifton. So if you didn't like the sermon, I'm Jimmy Clinton. Now I challenge you to go forth. Go forth with the light shining in you and emanating out of you. The light that reaches out to everyone that you come into contact with. The light that blesses everybody that you come into contact with. So don't just be a blessing, accept blessings, and then return those blessings. Bless all of you.
Amen.